Hello, nerds. Welcome back to the New Block Nerds podcast. I'm your host, Chris, aka Prince, with the homie Duran, aka Medic Grizz. Duran, how we doing, bro?
Going well, bro. Going well. Can't complain.
Good, man. Good. So, guys, we are crossing the narrow sea today. We are back in Essos in the Dothraki Sea with a personal favorite, Daenerys Stormborn of House Targaryen. So, Duran, I really enjoyed this chapter because you're starting to see Daenerys really start to come into her own and
Yeah.
create her own identity separate of that from her brother Viserys, who's a shitbag, and he proves that he's a shitbag every chance he gets. So what I really liked about this chapter, just overall, is just at first Dany is really struggling to kind of fit in with Dothraki culture. But you see her trying to find little joys here and there.
Yes.
And it just really, like, fundamentally, it really shows you what kind of person Dany is.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I think book readers were so upset about how the show ended up. Again, we're not gonna go into it here, but it just little things like what you get in this chapter about like how she overcomes things. I feel like George constantly reminds us of the kind of person and the kind of ruler that Daenerys would be. That was just a little inconsistent in the show, to say the least.
So I'm going to value this chapter and not think about the future because it is
fair. Yeah.
It is very questionable. It is very questionable. But the best thing about this, it shows her heart. It shows her like compassion and like how she's not trying to conquer everything, but at the same time, she will adjust to make things right for what she believes in. That is a really great quality to have in somebody who's leading it. The actual foundation, your family. Like she said, I'm not Queen, I'm Khaleesi. Like, let me know. Like, I am learning my position. I am adjusting to my surroundings. Like when she mentioned the whole riding a horse and how the whole metaphor of her whole entire like, she was basically like going through a boxing match every single freaking day until her body was adapting to the point, and then you see her overcome it. And that's just like her character and what she has went through and what she will go through. She will always overcome it.
Yeah, and you know that's something that why I love Daenerys so much is because she was not, even though she is a princess,
Mm-hmm.
she was not born into all the comforts that a princess should be given, right? Like
Yeah.
she really had to get it out the mud. Like you read in the early part of this chapter is her literally, talking about her day-to-day routine, like you were just mentioning, and deciding pretty literally that she was going to kill herself. Like
Yep.
she had given up. She was like, I can't do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course that night she has I think it's her first dragon dream, which,
Well, this one, they said that is another dream. I guess that she had one before, but this one, her brother was not in it.
oh right, yes, yeah,
This one,
that's
her
right,
brother wasn't in it.
that's right. So again, another telling kind of piece there in that description of the dragon dream is that it's just her now.
Yeah.
And you're starting to see, and I think that's kind of a metaphor for like their relationship right now, because it's always just been her and her brother.
Mm-hmm.
And she's known nothing else, right? So she, doesn't, I think deep down she always knew that Viserys was kind of a snake and kind of a wuss. But
Yeah.
if that's all you know, that's all you know, right? But to your point, he's not in this dream. And you're starting to see like the separation of the identities between Daenerys and Viserys, which for good reason, because I think she does need to. You see now that her shedding him is helping her come into her own in a much more powerful way.
Daenerys is a chump. I'm sorry, he's a freaking chump, though. Like every time he gets an opportunity, he like, don't release the dragon. No one cares, bro. Like literally, like you were pissing off everybody, and everywhere you walk, people are like, yo, like I gotta deal with this dude because of you. I don't want to. Like I'm ready to off him right now, and you just keep pissing me off. And every time your voice, even like when it had the whole walk in the trail and how they were talking about how the scenery and how like Daenerys saying every time she goes how beautiful it really was, and you just mentioned that she is taken in life now because she doesn't really remember everything back then. So
Right.
seeing how things are and how like it's kind of a hard walk. It's not an easy walk. This pathway of this horror is very challenging. And then hearing him back complaining and crying and whimpering is like, yo, like, bro, you don't fit in here. Like, you are annoying everybody. Please go. I
Yeah.
can't stand.
Yeah, but again, it's that fundamental difference in the way that they view life, just
Yeah,
overall, like how to go about things. Like she's like, all right, yeah, this is tough. Like I have sores all over my body from riding constantly, but I'm gonna try and be grateful for something. I'm gonna try and find something, beautiful in all this, and she does.
yeah.
And you see the difference in a person like Viserys and even Ser Jorah. He's kind of counseling her a little bit, and he's like, be honest, would you want to see your brother on the throne? And
That
deep
was a
down,
good
she's
call.
like, no, I guess not. He's kind of a dick. He'd
Yes,
not be
yes.
he. And she asked him, Ser Jorah straight up. She's like, he wouldn't be a good ruler, would he? And he's like, there have been worse kings, but it's a short list. I'll be honest with you.
And then like her even realizing, like it shows the entire chapter. It starts off with getting your butt whooped as far as like the metaphor of life and everything else, and then her position of being now the lady of the actual army, everything else, and her role. And then like you said, you see the growth as it keeps going on, and things get easier and easier. And as she's shedding off, like you said, everything else, she sees him for who he really is. So the
Mm-hmm.
point that when she said, you know what, you stay home, I don't want to stay at the camp, you ain't got to come. And then he got so mad that she would give him orders. And then he reacted like he normally does because he's not evolving with how things are being done. And then when I heard the whip, like actually like the line saying the whip around his neck, I instantly thought of the TV show and how like, yo, bro, you about to be done right now.
Yeah.
Like, say the word, you're out of here.
Yeah, and it's funny because the Dothraki are very very harsh people, right? So she's like, no, 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 what are you doing? Like, y'all chill, chill, chill. And the guy who has the whip is like talking in Dothraki, and is like, you know, maybe we should just take an ear to teach him some respect. And I'm like, damn.
Like,
I'm
just
like,
a
damn,
little
y'all.
bit.
I'm
Just a
like,
little Mike Tyson.
y'all are rough. But again, that Danny commanding Ser Jorah to take his horse from him and make him walk to shame him is that's huge for Daenerys because remember, like, she doesn't know anything other than her brother at this point, right? So like for her to really rebel against him in that way is
Mhm.
really is really just a great point in her character development because, like you said, the more she sheds off of him, the better she is in becoming something of an identity of her own making.
Yo, she was
Um,
so nervous, bro. Like she was like her inner thoughts. She was like, he's gonna be mad. Is he gonna make it back to town? What is he gonna do? Like, but she outside core, she got to show, hey, I'm the queen. Show my poker face. Like, yo, I walk. But it's like she was scared little girl because that's all
right.
she freaking knew. It's like, bro, that was a monumental change to make him walk. And then as they're walking, he fades more into the background. I thought that was like a amazing like storytelling and like foreshadowing what the hell the world will be like. He is only this far, but as you keep progressing, he will no longer be there.
Yep. Yep. And it's kind of, you can tell Danny still deep down feels some kind of love for him because that is still her brother at the end of the day. And so she's a little sad when she kind of comes to the realization that, like, he's never going to take us home. He
Nope.
he's not he's never going to be able to take us home. The Dothraki don't respect him. They're never going to follow him.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we have to look forward to. And I think that kind of helped her embrace Dothraki culture a little bit more, knowing that Viserys he's not capable of leading them into Westeros. He's just not capable, flatly.
It's so bad. He showcases his like lack of talent any chance he gets. So not keeping his poise, you're speaking to the queen like that, then you demand that the one night versus the entire Dothraki army. They're like, yo, yeah, by the way, kill them all right now. Like, yo, but bro, like look around you.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do. Just
No.
be quiet. Let's get back to camp.
Just
And
relax.
he doesn't get it. He just doesn't get it. He's an airhead, bro. He's just assuming
Yeah.
he's an airhead.
He's just a little pompous little prick, is what he is.
Yeah. There.
So, yeah. So
He's like top
it's
3 right now of annoying people in Game of Thrones in the book so far. He's
yeah. Well,
definitely top.
because he's so entitled, right? And like part of me kind of understands it, right? Because he is the last male heir in a 300-year dynasty, right? I get it. I understand
Yeah.
everything that comes with that, right? But you've been on the run since you've been like 5 years old, guy. Read the room a little bit. Understand that you do not have any power other than your name. And your name means nothing in the Dothraki Sea.
At all.
It would behoove you to do a little to take a note from your sister and maybe ingratiate yourself in Dothraki culture just a
Preach.
little bit, and maybe
Preach.
they might fuck with you a little bit more. But he's
Nah.
incapable of doing everything because he views himself as the last Targaryen king,
Yeah.
that everything is beneath him. Everyone should just serve him just because of his name, and he just doesn't understand that you're not in Westeros, man. No one
No,
gives a
not
fuck about the Seven Kingdoms and Essos.
at
Not
all.
one single soul.
At all. And like, yo, somehow you feel so it's progressed going on. And the eggs in the dream, how they were warm, and how the egg was almost identical to her dream now. So she's like, wait.
Mm-hmm.
And she feels it, she's like, it's getting warmer. Like, what's going on? And then she wrote it actually in this actual see the sun. It's getting warmer. And then she's like, I need a hot bath. Like, she's putting 2 and 2 together. And then you see, like, even like, okay, where are you from? You were a slave for this, but teach me more. You were from what house? Okay, I need to learn how to do that because I also want to be a better. This is a show, so better for the actual her role as a queen. Let's
Right.
put that.
Right.
Kids
Yeah.
might be
Yeah.
watching this. So she's learning that from people and understanding her surroundings and taking all the information in. And then she even mentions like, Knight, like, didn't you say you align yourself with my brother? Didn't you say you protect him? But she also realizes that the conversation needs to be had, that he is not who everyone wants to follow.
Nope.
You can be that, and you're learning how, and it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, no, yeah, it definitely shows the difference between like what makes a good ruler and what makes a bad ruler.
Yeah.
Again, which is why Daenerys is a fan favorite, right? Because the same thing with like Daenerys and Jon and some of these other people that we love, Arya, Tyrion, like they really do have to go through some real trials and tribulations to get to where they are later on in the story, which is why we respect them so much, because they're not Viserys, they're not Joffrey, they're not these people who have had everything or have been told that everything should be given to you just because of who you are, not because of what you've done or what you're capable of or what your, abilities are, and stuff like that. So it's refreshing to see, someone like Daenerys who she could be just like her brother.
Yes.
But she's so incredibly humble and so incredibly like willing to put the hard work in, and you see that there. But I do want to go into the Dragon Dream a little bit.
Let's go.
Because George, he does very well, like when he wants to do like prophetic dreams. We've seen some that like John will have, Tyrion will have some, Jaime will have some, Daenerys, of course, will have some.
Yeah.
But to your point, these dreams are very, very magical in nature. Like you said, like the same dragon scales that she saw in her dream were the same from one of her eggs. And the more she dreams about it, the stronger she gets. Like it seems like, remember, we were talking about her wanting to literally like commit suicide, right?
Yes.
But after she has that dream, the next day, riding didn't hurt so much.
Nope.
Right? When Khal Drogo comes to her tent at night, it's not always so painful. Right.
Nope.
So things are starting to like trend upwards for her. And it all stems from her having that dream. Right. So you do see a little bit of like the soft magic system in George's world that he's created start to come in here and start to really empower Daenerys. And you're starting to see it in the real world too. And even she can't even like even she's kind of like not believing it, like no. When she's like, it's feeling the eggs, and she's like, huh,
Yes.
these are really warm today.
And
Maybe they just got warmed because we were riding in the sun all day long. Like she's totally brushing it off, and it's just like, or maybe something else, Danny. Maybe something else.
look around, look around. I just think it's so cool because like not only the dream, and actually she mentioned about how like the realism we're talking about as in like, yo, it's really you have eggs in front of you, and they mentioned how the last dragon was so far long ago, and how her your brother always says, "I'm the last dragon." Like, no, you really have dragon eggs right in front of you. Like you literally had them. Like everything that you find your brother is saying is full of crap. Like yes, you
Mm-hmm.
put the whole stories together as you learn because you said her home and what everyone thinks is the home is not where the king lays at. Her home or where she was a different place. She doesn't remember anything about what happened before that. She's so young.
Right.
So this is her chance of maturing. And tell me how you felt about her maturing into a lady and realizing that, hey, if I'm going to be the queen of these people, the Khaleesi of these people, they say everything under the moonlight or is everything under the sunlight is important. So
Yeah, everything happens under the stars. Like there
yeah,
are no
so
secrets with the Dothraki. So yeah, no,
it's so cool.
I thought that was a huge power move for her. Because at this point, her and Khal Drogo, they're married, but they're not really
No.
companions yet, right? Like, she says that she always ate dinner alone, and cried herself to sleep until at some point in the night, Khal Drogo would come to her tent, to have sex with her. But she takes the initiative here, and
Mm-hmm.
I think again, it's such a great power move because it shows Khal Drogo a little bit about just her determination, which I think, not even to think, I know that he appreciates and he loves that about her because their relationship from this point on, you'll see, changes dramatically.
Because he no longer
Like,
sees her as an object. She actually sees her as a queen. And
right.
like her
And he
worry,
actually loves her after this.
yeah,
And I think she gets the respect of all the Dothraki when she does take him out in front of everyone and takes control pretty much, right?
bro.
And it's like all right, like she has fully bought into this culture, and that's the only way you're gonna gain the respect of Dothrakis like this is if you go all the way in with it. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can't half-ass it and like judge them for how they wear their clothes or how they travel or how they live. Like you have to be all the way in.
And I think it's so cool that her cup was so empty for her being so young that she
Mm-hmm.
can fill it up with this. Because you already see how people who are their cup was halfway full or full with the old culture across the West and the sea, they don't adapt. So it's brilliant how he wrote everything and how it made her so innocent as far as like naive in sense of knowledge of learning how to do things and then seeing the growth. It's really it's pure and it's beautiful. Actually seeing what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, no, it is, and the chapter wraps up with one of her handmaids, kind of feeling on her belly and letting her know like, hey, you're pregnant, and
The
then he's
game
like,
is on. Let's go.
I know. So it's a great way to end the chapter. And of course, uh, her name carries so much weight that her having a child is a big deal in the world right now. So, um, very, very excited to continue on her journey. Things are definitely looking up for Danny. Not so much Viserys, but he sucks anyway. So, um, but yeah, man, you got any other final thoughts? I really like this chapter.
No, I'm excited because like I wasn't sure they were going to end the chapter the way they did with the bomb. Like, oh, she's pregnant. Because like in the show, we know what happened once
Right.
we found her nose. This is going to start like, yo, we get like her chapters come like one every seven. It feels like it's like so far between. Like this is so far away. So when that capsule and you drop the bomb and then you see that everything happens next, I can't wait. I just
Yeah.
can't wait.
Yeah. Looking forward to it, man. So we're back in Westeros next week with Bran. So I'm excited for a Bran chapter. I think it's been a while, but yeah, I mean Daenerys again. I just I anytime I turn the page and I see another Daenerys chapter, I get really excited just because to your point, we don't get a lot of them early on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we get a lot of Catelyn, a lot of Ned and
Why you
folks
said
like that, but.
why you say that? Why? You
You know,
miss every show, bro.
she's
You
coming
miss
up soon, man.
every
We haven't had
show.
a Catelyn chapter in a while, man.
Yo,
It's
listen, I'm gonna turn my screen black on that day. So you're gonna hear my voice, but you're not gonna see my face.
no. The
That's how
people
much
need
I
to see
don't
your face.
respect that lady. I don't respect that lady. It's gonna be the pure image, just right there. Like you know, how you have someone there, but there's no one. Like, yes,
Just the egg emoji.
yes.
Well, all right, guys. It's been a pleasure, Deron. Appreciate you, bro, and we will catch you guys in Westeros next week.
Peace and love.